You're in D1.
Yeah.
And you're in D1. My county commission D1, school board district D1. Why don't we have D1 people here?
Long way. You're fine.
That's one, well, it's a longer way for me, because I come from Manatee, okay? But it's a long way. The other night, we had a parish Christmas event. And y'all know my shtick. What's my shtick? Where are y'all from?
Yeah.
What I found in parish was that the average citizen there has only lived there from 2 to 10 years. And guess where they're not? They're not here. We don't have in District 1 a strong, now I'm not saying we're not strong Republicans in District 1. I think my act is about as red as you're going to get in this county. But what we don't have in District 1 is we don't have a group like you. Now, when you used to meet farther over there, right, we had people coming in. But these are the people that we don't want going into an election with a dartboard, right?
Right.
The platform I've been on before I became a candidate, what I've always done is 3 things: educate, inform, and involve. And that's not changing. And it's not going to change whether I get elected or not. Because we are Florida. We constantly are bringing new people into Florida. Why? Because we're a pretty good place to live. I am genetically inferior that I cannot live anyplace else. I have a vested interest in Manatee County. I have a history in Manatee County. I'm involved in the present of Manatee County, and I have a vested interest in the future of Manatee County. Now, when you go through life, we all know that most of us start out registering for a party that is pretty much probably the opposite of our parents, right? Just because that's what you do when you're young. And I had to ask myself many times through my lifetime, what kind of party am I? Well, when I was younger, that would be a lot different answer. So, but we also have to question is, what is a fiscal conservative? And that's where I had to say, guess why I'm standing here right now? Because I'm a fiscal conservative. I bought my first piece of property when I was 23 years old. Do you know how much I paid for my first piece of property in the state of Florida? 4 digits. 4 digits. And it was on an island. So, I am a person that has obviously demonstrated fiscal responsibility. I have 2 children that I put through college. Why? Because of fiscal responsibility. They had Bright Future scholarships, they had prepaids, one served in the military, and one followed his mother's instinct and is a genetic researcher in Moffitt Cancer Center. So, I also came to the realization the other day that I am the oldest candidate running for county commissioner. Okay, I've also lived in Florida the longest, of a certain age. So, a fiscal conservative that knows the land, knows our waterways, knows our history, is present and an activist in the present, and has a vested interest in Manatee County's future. To me, that sounds like a pretty good candidate for county commissioner. And that's where I want to be. But this is where I need y'all's help. Whether or not your county commissioner is running for office or running for re-election or whatever, let's get down to brass tacks here. This is your first line of representation in government. Your first line of representation in government. So if you don't know who your county commissioner is, and you're not paying attention to what's going on in your own backyards, and you have a backyard that's more than 4 feet, where somebody tells you you can't plant a fruit tree, are you exercising your rights and your responsibilities as an American citizen, starting from where? The ground up. So, for those of you who have friends we all get out there in the community. We live, we work, our children play sports, we do all kinds of things out there. Even if your candidate is not running this year, get involved, because they vote on everything that affects your daily quality of life every day, starting in your own backyard. So for all of you who are from District 1 that have been so kind to sign a petition for me, your job's not over yet. Your job's not over yet. And I hope tonight when we have our guest speaker, you'll learn a little bit more about the election process and just how expensive this is. And this is why you don't see people like me taking a chance and getting up here. Well, I'm old and I don't really have that much left in time in this world to make a difference. And I decided that I'm going to do it one way or the other. So you can elect me as a county commissioner, you can work for my campaign, you can work in your own districts, but let's get somebody up there with some common sense and a good sense of where Florida is, where Florida needs to be.
Thanks, Carl.